Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute chaos that was the origin of our planet. We're going way, way back into deep time, using some incredible insights from Nodutu Lokaya astronomy to really grasp how our world began. We're going to literally strip away everything you know about Earth today and travel to an era that is, frankly, completely unrecognizable. So, let's dive right into the core question here. What exactly existed on Earth all those eons ago? You look out your window right now, you see stable ground, blue skies, and complex ecosystems. But scratch that. We need to strip all of that away, look past everything familiar, and ask, what was actually there at the very, very beginning? Imagine a world with absolutely no continents, no oceans of liquid water, and an environment totally hostile to any form of biology. It really forces us to completely flip our perspective on the ground we walk on every single day. But before we get into those harsh conditions, we've got to pause and just respect the sheer monumental scale of this number, 4.5 billion years. To put that into perspective, if you compressed Earth's entire history into a single 24-hour day, human history wouldn't even register until the final fraction of a second. Crazy, right? This is the literal genesis of our world. We aren't just talking about ancient history or T-Rexes roaming around. We're talking about deep, geologic time, where the planet itself was basically a volatile infant. It's a time so incredibly far removed from our current reality that the forces shaping the globe were purely primordial.
Section 1. The early atmosphere, a carbon dioxide world.
So early Earth definitely wasn't the welcoming blue marble we're used to. It was entirely engulfed by a suffocating, incredibly dense blanket of carbon dioxide. Imagine the atmospheric pressure just crushing down, heat trapped relentlessly at the surface, and a sky that would look totally alien, more like a hazy reddish-orange smog than a comforting blue. Obviously, this wasn't an environment that could support anything breathing. Zero free oxygen for complex organisms. Instead, it was a volatile, toxic pressure cooker that completely defined our planetary infancy. That extreme greenhouse effect kept surface temperatures unimaginably high. It was literally a cauldron of primordial gases.
Section 2. The violent era, Late Heavy Bombardment.
Which brings us to what's known as the Late Heavy Bombardment. And listen, this wasn't just a few rogue asteroids passing by. This was a wildly chaotic, destructive period defined by intense, continuous impacts. Earth was basically a cosmic punching bag, relentlessly pelted and violently reshaped by massive planetesimals in this terrifying, unrelenting storm. Try to picture the sheer scale of this. Massive rocks, some the size of mountains or even whole cities, just slamming into the thin, cooling crust, liquefying the rock right on impact, and throwing up these colossal plumes of debris. The night sky wouldn't be peaceful at all. It would be ablaze with the fiery trails of incoming space rocks. The Earth's crust was quite literally being churned and remelted over and over again by the sheer kinetic energy of these massive cosmic collisions. So let's map this journey out for a second. We start right at the genesis, 4.5 billion years ago, when the planet first coalesced. From there, we suffer through that suffocating high-pressure carbon dioxide era we just talked about, which leads us straight into the absolute devastation of the late heavy bombardment. Tracing this path really drives home just how unrelenting and chaotic our planetary evolution was. It wasn't a peaceful maturation at all. It was a crucible of fire, toxic gas, and violent kinetic impacts. Understanding this sequence is super important because it proves that Earth's default state wasn't a peaceful haven for life. Its default state was absolute, unadulterated chaos.
Section 3. The miracle emerges, building blocks of life.
And here is where we hit the ultimate, almost impossible paradox of our planet's history. Out of that extreme heavy bombardment and toxic atmosphere, the foundation was somehow laid for the delicate building blocks of life. It's wild to think about, but the very same violent conditions that seem so completely destructive, asteroids and comets just hammering the crust, were actually churning, mixing, and likely delivering the exact chemical elements required to spark life itself. These impactors from the deep solar system are thought to have brought crucial water, along with essential organic molecules and amino acids, right down to Earth's surface. So that terrifying cosmic storm, it wasn't just destroying the early crust, it was simultaneously seeding the planet. It was like a chaotic chemical laboratory, using the extreme heat and energy of those impacts to forge the precise molecular foundations needed for biology to eventually take hold. Now, piecing together these fragments of deep time takes some serious, dedicated exploration. The creator behind these astronomical insights, Nodutu Lokaya Astronomy, really encourages viewers to subscribe to uncover more of these cosmic mysteries. And honestly, engaging with this kind of exploration allows all of us to keep peeling back the hidden layers of our universe. It takes a lot of continuous curiosity to look at a barren, toxic, bombarded wasteland and see the very seeds of our own existence. So, the absolutely crucial point I want to leave you with today is this. If life's very foundation not only survived, but was actually born from such a violent genesis, what other miracles are hiding in the dark corners of our universe? Think about it. If the delicate building blocks of life could emerge from the absolute chaos of the heavy bombardment, it completely rewrites the rulebook on where life might exist out there. It really leaves us wondering, what other impossible origins are just waiting out there in the dark, waiting to be uncovered?